Hello, everyone. My name is Sean, and I am the artist and creator behind Christ Life Art. And I want to welcome you out into my little shop today. I have a special announcement to share with you guys, and then some thoughts behind it. And so, this really has to kind of deal with October and maybe a little bit going forward with Christ Life Art, but a little bit about where I'm at and what's happening. And so I haven't been posting a whole lot lately. I'm going to share some more about that here in a minute. But what I wanted to just kind of announce is that for the month of October, I'm going to be taking a break. And so I'm going to be just kind of stepping down from creating for a little bit and catch a breather. And I wanted to make a video though and share about why. Why is it that I'm going to be doing this? Because I think the reason that is feeding this decision is actually something that a lot of people face and go through, but maybe just don't talk about very much. And so, and it's not just other artists. I think we all kind of face this on some degree and some level, and maybe can identify it. And so, in a hope to try and be just transparent and open and be real. That's something that I want to be in this ministry, is just real. And so you're gonna get a little bit of realness today. So a little bit about what's going on. And so basically this kind of all started back in June. And at that point, I had been, well, in June, I was just coming off of my furlough from my full-time job. And so if you don't know this already, Christ Life Art isn't what I do full time. It's a passion of mine. It's a mission, it's a ministry, and I do it outside of my full-time work. And so, but I was on furlough during the beginning of the whole pandemic issues. And so I was on furlough, and during that several months on furlough, I really got to kind of live my dream for a little bit as a full-time artist. And so I was, I could get up every morning. I could have plenty of time to read and study and think and pray. And then I could start creating. I could draw. I could sketch. I could do my printmaking. I could do lino cuts. I could come out here and actually do the actual printing process. And I just had time to do it. I had time to think about it. I had time to invest a lot of thought and purpose into this ministry, and I loved it. It was kind of like, this is what I always hoped for, to be able to be a full-time artist doing art as a ministry, and I was living it for a few months, and that was awesome. And then my furlough ended, and that time that was just really refreshing with my family and my art just kind of, skirted away, just moved off to the side again. And as I went back into work, it was kind of back into that, trying to get back into that mode of pre-furlough Christ Life Art. And that's been difficult, honestly, to shift gears back into that, to where during furlough, I could get rest. I could go to bed at a decent time. Now, if I want to keep creating, it's pushing myself into late night work. And so, shifting gears back into pre-furlough Christ Life Art has been tough, and that's been a struggle. But I've tried to keep creating. I've tried to keep moving, and then in June of this year, June 21st, our pastor was preaching through Colossians, and he preached on peace. And man, that Sunday really kind of twisted on me. Really kind of began to show some things inside of me, like, Sean, something's not ticking right. There's some restlessness and some lack of peace in areas of your heart right now. And I really couldn't figure out why. And I was kind of wrestling with that for a bit, because things just didn't feel right. And so June, July, August went on, and the restlessness was growing, and it was intensifying. I was still trying to create, and I even shared a video series to kind of convey the purpose and the mission behind Christ Life Art. I wanted to show everyone that I could, man, this is what I'm trying to do. And I really think that I was doing that as a way to kind of reinforce myself, because I was like, man, this is the mission, this is the purpose, and I want everyone to know it. I want everyone to know the burning, driving passion behind Christ Life Art, that it is about proclaiming Christ and seeing lives change, and it's through a creative means of artwork, and that it is ministry and not just a hobby. And so I put all that out, and I put it out with a lot of hope and a lot of fear, because hope is like, man, I hope that people see what it is that I'm trying to do, and that they would get excited about it, and maybe, want to try and help it grow, or help with it somehow. But then there was also this major fear side of me, of like, Sean, you're gonna put all this out and people just won't care, There, and I hate to sound so pessimistic, but that is part of me. I do have this pessimistic side sometimes, but there was like this fear, like that, Sean, you're gonna put it out and, man, people aren't gonna watch them, they're not gonna care, and that was a fear that I had. And I remember investing just a lot of time, a lot of effort to get that out. And then after it was done, I remember just feeling those little nuggets that I had left of peace just kind of start fading away. And it was about that time that I had this guy reach out to me over Instagram. His name is Andrew. If you want to go check him out, his art is called Walk on Watercolors. So you can find him on Instagram. But he reached out to me, and I got connected with him. And then I saw a post that he had done about Jonah. And he talks about how the prophet Jonah was reluctant to follow God. And then when he decided to follow God, he just grumbled the whole time. And I remember reading that, it like hit me like a ton of bricks. Like, Sean, this is what you're doing, man. This is what you're doing right now. God is telling you, Sean, it's not my will for you right now to do this full time, and it's gonna be hard, and you're gonna have to sacrifice for it, and you're gonna have to keep pouring into it. But that's not what I have for you right now, to just be able to just do that. And I just thought, like, okay, fine. Totally being honest with you guys. Like, I was just like, fine, God, whatever. And I just grumbled. Man, I grumbled the whole time. And it's just sad. It's a sad state of the reality. It's just, man, my obedience was full of just grumbling. And it wasn't long before that teaching the small group that I'm a part of at my church, we were teaching through Matthew, and we got to the part where the disciples are on the sea, and man, the waves are crashing over. If you've seen my It Is Well print, it's kind of based out of that. And I remember teaching through that, and for it kind of hit me just like on a deeper level this time, how these waves are crashing over these men who are experienced sailors. They know what they're doing. They know how to handle a sea. They know how to handle a storm in the boat. They can do this. But their self-reliance was being pried away from them. Their reliance on being able to do it for themselves, their own know-how, their own strength, their own ability, was being pulled away from them. And if they were going to survive that storm, it was going to be because of Christ and not because of them. And it just hit me. Like, I was walking at work. I often walk on my lunch breaks, and I was walking and thinking and praying, and God just hit me like, Sean, your grumbling is being produced out of how much you compare yourself to others. And you have let go of clinging to Christ, and you have begun to cling to comparison. And it was just like, man, it was good and it was hard. It was hard because it was true. um, but I needed to hear that. I needed God to open my eyes to that. And it's funny how blind we can be to such easy things to see sometimes. And God just opens our eyes, and it's like, whoa! How did I not see that I was doing that? But I needed my grip pulled off of comparison and put back on Christ. And man, life just cannot be lived with any kind of joy or peace when you're clutching tightly and measuring yourself to the accomplishments and the success of others. It just doesn't work. It can't happen. And that's what I've been doing. And honestly, it brought me to just buying into so many lies. I mean, lie after lie after lie. Some of them like God, I'm seeing that you're equipping these other people, and you're giving them these abilities, but I feel like my personality and my ability is insufficient. Why did you make me like this and put me in this situation and this season in life where like the passion that I have, I can't act on fully like I want to? There's been so many times I've prayed, God, either take this passion for this ministry I have away from me, or let's go all in. Like, I would rather not have the drive and not have the excitement and ideas and thoughts that fuel it, than to watch them just waste away the rest of my life, if that's what's going to happen. And that's hard. It's hard. It's like, God, you're equipping others, but it feels like I'm just insufficient. God, I see you're meeting the provision for others, but man, so many times I feel left to just fend for myself at times, and not have the needs to, not have the ability to grow what it is that I'm trying to do. God, you care for others, and man, I just feel really abandoned. God, you put people in other people's lives that spur them and encourage them and all this. And I'll talk a little bit more about this here in a second, but why do I feel so abandoned by you and by others at times? God, you're leading others to find strides in their art and to make strides in their ministry when I feel exhausted just trying to continue in just one night of creating. Why is this going on? And then here's the big one. God, you're using others, and so that must mean that you really don't want to use me. And my prayers started to shift and even change. And it wasn't any more of, God, lead me wherever you go, I want to go. I'll follow you wherever. It was, God, why aren't you doing this for me? Why are you doing that over there, but you're not doing something here? Like, why? Why is that? Why don't you want to use me? And man, that's a dangerous place to be. It is very dangerous. And I began embracing lies from kind of an old coping mechanism that I had established when I was younger. And the coping mechanism is just to lie to yourself about significance. It's like, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter that that's happening over there because they're good, they deserve that, or whatever. And really, when you peel back all the layers of these lies that you can tell yourself, it's trying to convince myself I don't matter. Because if I can convince myself that I don't matter, then it makes sense. Then I can reason with it and say, well, God isn't equipping me and helping me because I don't matter. I don't have a purpose in this. I don't have a place in this. And when you start convincing yourself of that, then you start being able to see yourself as useless and without a purpose. And then real quickly, everything starts feeling pointless. And man, I cannot tell you the amount of, if this is even a word, pointlessness I have felt over the past month. And that's been really tough. And just kind of like nothing matters. Nothing matters. And the thing is all this pain and all this wrestling and all this depression really was a fight over comparisons. And man, I sunk into a depression, and really those waves of it crashing over me was his grace towards me. It was, man. It was his grace towards me to say, I am going to get your hands, Sean, off of comparing yourself to other people and back on me. And I'm thankful to him for that. I am thankful to him. And so that's a little bit about where I've been. I kind of, after spending time of like not having someone like be able to say, Sean, this is where you need to go as a Christian, as a man. Here's how to grow as a husband and as a father. Here are some areas to grow in your ministry. Having some sort of ministry mentor, or even someone to like help me grow in my art. Instead of having community and relationship, I had social media comparisons. And I kept just judging my own worth over what other people were achieving and other people were succeeding in. And it was ruining me. And so I got to just take a step back. And so for October, again, I'm not going to be creating. I hope at some point in November to maybe start sharing some new work. I have something that's in process. It's a print called Awake and Alive. And really, it was all about like trying to charge other believers to live a life that is awake and alive and active and engaged with Christ and with what he's doing. And I didn't feel it. I didn't feel awake and alive. I felt dead. And every time I would try and motivate myself to work on that print, it's like, why? It's pointless. Like, and man, that's so ridiculous. I hope that comes through in what I'm trying to share, that these were lies that I was buying into, and letting myself be convinced of. Because again, instead of having people speak into my life, I was having my Facebook feed speak into my life. And that's silly, quite frankly. And so, again, that's just where I'm at right now. So I'm going to be taking a break in October, but also for me personally, I'm going to be stepping away from social media. And I don't know when I'll be back. For my art side, like Christ Life Art on Facebook and Instagram and my YouTube videos, when I start sharing work again, I'll put those out there. But as far as like just me personally, my own personal social media, I don't know when I'll be back on there. I have to do some work. I got to do some business on myself and work through some of these things. So if man, I could use your prayer honestly through some of this. Just praying that God would lead me in the way that I should go, and that he would help me see more how I get my hands off of comparison and more fully and tightly on to him. So I would appreciate that. When I was doing my art videos, which I hope to be doing again eventually, but just taking a break right now. But when I would do them, I would always end them saying, wherever you go, I hope that you go knowing that there's one God. He's given us one goal, and that's his glory. And I still believe that. And so that's what I'm going to do today. As I shut off this video, I'm going to go knowing that there's one God, and he has given me one goal. And that is to glorify and reflect him with my life. And that's what I want to be about. And if I find my significance and my worth in the comparisons of myself to others, I can't reflect that. I can't do that. And so that's what I'm going to go work on. And so I hope that you work on it too. And for those of you who maybe wrestle with some of these same issues, I hope that this is helpful in some kind of way. Just to know that you're not the only person that does this. I hope that I'm not the only one whose mind can just get overactive with some of these things. And sometimes I need God to just calm me down and kind of set my mind straight back on him. So Thank you guys. I appreciate y'all. And when I start sharing some work again here soon, I'm excited about it, and I hope that we'll get going here soon in November. So thank you guys. I appreciate your time.